Okay, so I waited a day on this vid. I really just wanted to wait until after at least this part of my court systems are done here to talk about the motion to dismiss. That's not really solved out until like April 16th, I believe is what it is. Now, again, I understand the complex nature of the problem I might have uncovered about the issue, but there are certain things that I need to talk about inside of this system. See, I wish it would have happened locally, right? I would rather somebody not have put a conflict of interest case on this so I could have handled it locally. And to that, I wish I really could have had the opportunity because there's no way somebody's going to say that this was not some manner a level of extortion into the board because, well, the way it all went down, getting there, and I have to be able to specify these cases regardless of the public attorney's office, regardless of the court in itself, because of the justice paradox. You can't have all keys on that note, on the piano here, the white one, the black one, and then the right note for what you need to have Beethoven's perfect pitch here be able to apply what was going on. That's one of the problems. The other problem is again this nature of the restraining order. I would have loved to tell the judge exactly what I would have done by going to those meetings because I would like to have gone to those meetings. Now, do I need to go to the office at this point in time? No, I don't need to go to the office. They're not offering any jobs. They're not inside of the system. It's not a private business, so they do not have the right to deny me an application or the qualifications yet again because of issues that were dismissed because of the nature of the argument. To that, again, that's a very eyebrow raising moment that I was potentially extorted. You can't have released with a plea deal. You can't have no plea deal, get arrested, and a dismissal in the same breath. I mean, within seconds of each other is the only thing that separates them. And again, to this case, I wish it would have happened locally because that would have solved the issue of the matter, of the complaint forms, of the HTML pages, of ways to define the YouTube standards for their video models through evolving it that I could have done as a volunteer to those committee meetings across the board. I could have absolutely pushed their biggest players' chest in. I know the board factory. I know gas station petty cash. I know golf course maintenance. I know the hotel standards. And to those models, when we want to break down the frame rate to do that, you have to have those biggest players come in here and understand to the housing models and to these other things, which is going to take a series of times, if not full-on administrational projects for what we break down here. And that has to be done faster than light. We have to do that with those presentations of the fall or raising of Sparta, right? This is the foundation of those things on the Zeno's paradox, pushing through a three mean about what this does. And so again, I would have loved to have been actually able to say that. But if I had said those things and actually beat the district attorney through these real models about what does, not to be able to see my accuser in front of me, and the understanding of if you have 12 people you have to impart this information on, how would you like it presented so that way it's the proper model of motion or M theory for how you're applying these systems. And so again, it's one of those things I know, right? It's a processing factory. I can only really tell something from the judge's perspective because I grade rock. A potato passes through, it gets into the truck. If the truck has too many bruised potatoes inside of it, well, then you have an issue. Now, I'm not saying my situation wasn't some kind of rock or ruby that wound up down from the daisy chain, how things plinkle their way to what they are. But this is the nature of these kinds of arguments. It's going to be a 682's cage of me doing if only a Saturday brief, or even if my own model, because people can't make it, or at least I could say they had the email, or check the email is a recent one here that I hear is a great turn inside of the model. That you have to understand that that's kind of a bit bullshit, right, for me on my end, that there's a justice issue of the longer it takes us for getting into these situations, then I don't really have the mat plot lib. Then I really don't have the trustee. Then the newspaper article that seems fine about the American Restoration Act or any kind of Blue Zoo or FEMA work program is the same thing different that will have the same problems because nobody actually modeled to graph them correctly. And over 4-6 months here, not only did one of your people not have a job, but you wanted to not bring them into the community meetings. You did not want to understand the standard of how that community meeting is going to lead to how many children we have, how many resources, or what those resources are. I'm not trying for Amish country here, and I don't think Hancock is a Boone and Crockett fly fish and dirt bike in town really has a lot to do with that. Walton adjacent, Deposit adjacent, Hamden adjacent, inside of what it is we generally do here. And so it's very concerning that I could have had that opportunity to say this. I could have had the opportunity to temper it with the judge, perhaps. Now, again, that's going to be, I just can't look at the judge that says, don't do that. This is not what this was supposed to be about.